Hey guys! Today I'm here to share with you how I took this old storage cabinet and transformed it into more of a boho modern inspired unit. So, this storage cabinet I got off of Facebook Marketplace almost a year ago. Yikes! I actually had worked on it as soon as I got it and gave it a white and gray look. And I hated it. I did not like it at all. I didn't even try to sell it. I was so disappointed and bummed out on the way it looked that I actually just pushed it aside and didn't come back to it for almost a year later. I actually ended up naming this piece the Ugly Zebra just to show you how much I did not like it. Anyways, one thing that I've definitely learned throughout this process is that if I'm not inspired and I don't have a clear vision of what I want to flip, it typically doesn't turn out nice. And this is a prime example. After months and months of brainstorming, I finally was excited to give this storage cabinet a boho modern inspired look. First thing I did was disassemble it as much as possible. I removed the doors, the drawers, the shelves, everything I possibly could, even the backing of this storage unit.
Yeah, here we go. I remember back when I was young and clever and no one knew my name.
Even as I was disassembling this, I realized the finish on the outer edge was removable. And to be completely honest, I didn't like this from the beginning. So I was super excited to get this off. It was simply being held by a couple of screws. I removed those and voila, just like that, it had more of a modern look. Remember, this has been in storage for over a year. And even though I was going to remove all that zebra paint off of it, it still needed to be cleaned. There was so much dust on this, it was not even funny. So I gave it a good wipe down with some soap and water. To remove the paint, I used a wood chisel to scrape it all off. Now, typically that's not what you're supposed to use. There's actually scrapers meant to take paint job off, but this paint job was so bad. And once again, I was just not happy with the work that using the wood chisel actually just made it so much easier to come off.
But nowadays we only talk about the weather and nothing seems to change. Legends, we were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams. Legends, we were all born to be legendary. I got a feeling that there's something that I'm needing. Got a target in my aim. I can take it, yes, I'm never gonna leave it, 'cause I'm harder than the game. Legends, we were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams. Legends, we were all born to be legendary.
After about an hour, this is the result of the old paint finally removed. However, the surface was very uneven and it needed to be sanded down. So, using a 120 grit sandpaper, I sanded the entire surface down until it was nice and smooth.
Believe when I say I'm not a king or a queen, but I rule the game I play. We come hard and loud, but our feet are on the ground. I'm like a train bound, but I got it to the town. I got to grind to shine because I could be a hero, and I'm colorblind because that's the way I see you, and I need that, and I feel that. Say it loud, feel here. You know my LGBTQ. You know that we are legends. We were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams.
I ended up adding some Bondo wood filler to the holes that were left behind from removing that finish edge it had. Then I sanded these down until they were nice and seamless with the rest of the piece. For the doors, I wanted to remove these shutters. I really had envisioned adding some cane webbing to them. This has been really in lately, and I just wanted this piece to have that look. So I had to cut out these shutters. Using some furniture clamps, I secured them against the table, made sure that it wasn't moving at all, and then using a saw, I cut the shutters out.
We were all born to be legendary. Legends. We were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams. Legends. We were all born to be legendary. Yeah.
As you can tell, the cut wasn't as clean as I wanted it to be. It had a little bit of excess poking out of the frame. So, using an 80 grit sandpaper, I just sanded this away to remove any excess. My thought process here was to create a backing out of plywood and encase the cane as if it were kind of a picture frame. So I measured out the opening and then I cut the plywood to size using a circular saw and a saw guide. With all of the prep work completed, I was ready to move forward with painting. I started off by adding a layer of all purpose primer to all of the pieces.
Yeah. Here we go. I remember back when I was young and clever and no one knew my name. But nowadays we only talk about the weather and nothing seems to change. Legends, we were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams. Legends, we were all born to be legendary. I got a feeling that there's something that I'm needing. Got a target in my aim. Let me see it in my sights now. I can take it, yes, I'm never gonna leave it 'cause I'm hard.
After letting that dry for about an hour, I lightly sanded it with a 220 grit sandpaper and cleaned all the dust off with a clean wet rag. Then I applied 2 layers of paint. I used a white bone color, almost kind of a creamy color, to the entire thing. And following the same process, I sanded and cleaned in between each layer.
Became legends. We were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams. Legends. We were all born to be legendary. Now got my hands up. Believe when I say I'm not a king or a queen, but I rule the game I play. We come hard and loud, but our feet are on the ground. I'm like a train bound, but I got it to the town. I got to grind to shine because I could be a hero, and I'm colorblind because that's the way I see you, and I need that, and I feel that. Say it loud, they're here. You know my LGBTQ. You know that we are legends. We were all born to be legends.
I wanted to give this piece kind of a wooden look. Now, unfortunately, it's not solid wood, so it wasn't something I could just stain. So I decided to create the illusion of wood by adding a faux wood effect to it. Using a 5-inch block deck polyester flat brush, whew, that's a mouthful. I applied some varathane wood stain in 2 different colors to the tip of it. I used a western oak mixed with a weathered oak. I simply applied both stains to the tip of the brush, and then on a cardboard, I tapped the excess away. Then, using some long strokes from top to bottom, I applied the stain. Something I've learned with this technique is to apply the stain to a large area, letting it dry just a little bit. Then, with small taps along the long strokes, you start giving it the illusion of wood. I played around with the colors and density throughout the whole process. The key here is to keep messing around with it until you're happy with the results. I'm going to show you guys a couple of different angles, and hopefully, this helps envision what I've described.
Just a matter of your dreams, legends. We were all born to be legendary. Legends. We were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams, legends. We were all born to be legendary. We got, yeah. Love is love and we're all together, right? Yeah. Here we go. I remember back when I was young and clever and no one knew my name. But nowadays we only talk about the weather and nothing seems to change. Legends, we were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams, legends. We were all born to be legendary.
Now, because I applied an oil-based stain on top of a paint, it is so important to let it dry completely. So I let this stay overnight, and then the next morning, I lightly sanded the surface with a 400 grit sandpaper just to make sure it was really nice and smooth. And then we were ready to seal the piece. To seal the piece, I used bare polyurethane in a matte finish. I applied 3 layers of polyurethane, and similar to the paint, I lightly sanded in between each layer with a 220 grit sandpaper, wiped down any excess of dust with a clean, wet rag. A quick tip for you guys: if you are painting or sealing a piece of furniture with a foam roller or a paintbrush like I am, one thing I like to do for ease of cleaning is add some aluminum foil to the paint tray. This allows me to simply remove it when I'm done and throw it away. All I have to clean after that is the foam roller and the brush. Simple and easy.
Something that I'm needing, got a target in my aim. I can take it, yes, I'm never gonna leave it, cause I'm harder than the game. Legends, we were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams, legends. We were all born to be
As the layers of polyurethane were drying off, I pivot my focus to prepping the cane webbing to finish off the cabinet doors. The first thing I did was soak the cane in warm water for about 30 minutes. Then, while it was still wet, I started to unroll it and measure it into place. Remember, I cut some thin pieces of plywood that I'm going to be wrapping the cane webbing around. These are then going to be placed inside of the frame of the doors. I did prep these by painting and sealing them as I did the rest of the piece. The piece of cane I had bought was so exact that I didn't have any wiggle room for mistakes. So, what I decided to do was add some glue to the edges to secure them into place. And with the measurements completed, I simply cut the cane in half and then started wrapping the rest of it around the plywood and secured it into place with a staple gun. By the way, one thing I did when gluing it into place was ensure that the plywood was squared off with the cane pattern. That way, it didn't look lopsided or crooked when putting it in place. That is so important for the cohesiveness of the piece. Once I was done wrapping the cane in place, it was the moment of truth. Time for the real challenge: getting this to fit into the door frame. My theory was that the little bit of excess cane on the sides would give enough pressure to where it would lock into the frame. And the theory was successful. Now, I did have some concerns, as in, what if someone were to push this, like the door, and then boom, it falls out of place? I was not okay with that. So, my mom recommended to add some nails to the frame to keep the plywood in place, similar to a picture frame. If you put a new picture in a picture frame, it typically has these secure pins in the back that hold the backing, the picture, the glass in place so that it doesn't fall. That is exactly what I did here. Thanks for the idea, Mom. And with all of this work completed, we were ready to assemble and stage for the final reveal. One thing that you may have noticed is this piece did not have any feet. It had actually been laying on top of empty paint cans. So I purchased some new black metal legs off of Amazon and set them into place. It is a simple thing to do that makes a huge difference. For these, I simply placed them where I wanted them to go. With a pencil, I marked where the new screw holes needed to be and then made some holes with a pre drill. One thing to note is I like to use some painter's tape on the drill bit to know how deep of a hole I need. I've made the mistake of, quote, eyeballing it and accidentally over drilling. This will cause a complete hole to go through the furniture piece. Don't make this mistake. Always, always, always measure how deep of a hole you need. That extra minute is way worth it versus trying to fix a hole in a furniture piece. And finally, all I did was tighten the screws into place and I was done installing the legs.
Now got my hands up. Believe when I say I'm not a king or a queen, but I rule the game I play. We come hard and loud, but our feet are on the ground. I'm like a train bound, but I got it to the town. I got to grind to shine because I could be a hero and I'm colorblind because that's the way I see you and I need that and I feel that. Say it loud, feel here. You know my LGBTQ. You know that we are legends. We were up born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams.
And with that, after a year long of neglect, this storage cabinet went from an 80s look to an ugly zebra to a beautiful modern boho inspired storage cabinet. This was definitely more work than I wanted to do, but in the end, I was so happy with the results. The faux wood came out as beautiful as I imagined it. The cane webbing on the doors gave it that edge and uniqueness. The fresh paint and updated feet just made it look like a brand new piece. I wish I had a place in my house where I could keep this because that's how much I loved it. But unfortunately, there really isn't a place in my house, so I decided to sell it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed flipping the storage cabinet. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Remember, subscribing doesn't cost you anything and it really helps me out. As per usual, I'm going to make sure to add a list of material and their links in the description below. And for today, we are done. So I'm going to have to say goodbye and I'll see you guys next time here at Angie's Crafts Furniture Renovation. Bye.